sir.
Okay. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Welcome to the 30 to Life podcast, where we break stereotypes, build legacies, and help others along the way. It's your boy, Mookie.
And your favorite color in the world.
And welcome back to another episode of the 30 to Life podcast, where we redefine the Black experience. So all of our listeners right now, we appreciate you so much. It is April. Time is going by so fast. So you better make sure you do your taxes, because the IRS want their money. So unless you get a refund, then holla at me and Brown, because we need some of your refund money, because, you know, taxes is crazy.
Let me claim your kids.
Yeah, let me claim them all. But yeah, no, I'm excited for today's episode.
Yeah.
You know, get right into it, because that's how we do on certain episodes. When we get excited that we got one of our sisters on the episode, crushing it, entrepreneurship, right? So let me tell you about our guest, right? Because we're all about entrepreneurship. We're all about W-2s too, you know, or both. You know, we don't discriminate. We multiply and congratulate. I just made that up. So today we have Sunni Connor. She is a serial entrepreneur. She has 3 businesses. She has a tax service. She has hair products, and she is an author. She has written 5 books. Yes, 5 books, ladies and gentlemen. So she has so much wealth of knowledge, and I love her story because she transitioned from a W-2 job to entrepreneurship. She bet on herself, and she's living her dream right now. So just want to thank Sunni so much for coming on. Thank you for coming on the podcast.
Thank you. Thank you so much for having me. I really appreciate you guys.
Yes, we appreciate you for coming on. You're crushing it right now. We definitely want you to share your story with the masses. So before we get into deep of your entrepreneurship journey, can you just tell our listeners a little bit about yourself?
Yes, nice to be with you listeners. So I'm originally from Baltimore. I grew up with nothing special. I had to learn to figure this life out like everyone else. I grew up in poverty. I always wanted more. I always looked for more. And I just started making that a habit to find more. I would always say I wanted to see what was on the other side of that poverty wall, because everyone in my neighborhood was always doing the same. Nobody was doing tremendously better than anyone else. And so that's been my drive from as long as I can remember, to get over that wall. And once I figured out how to climb over it, I've just exceeded ever since.
So you mentioned that you grew up in poverty, and now you work for yourself. So take us back to when you had your 9 to 5. What were you doing? And your last day. Talk to us about that.
Woo! So when I had a 9 to 5, I did medical billing and coding, and I sat in a cubicle, a nice little square. I called it a prison, because, you know, at these office jobs, you bring in like pictures of your children and your family, and you put them like all around the cubicle. And that always reminded me of like a jail cell, you know? And so I sat there for 8 hours in complete boredom, making another company money. And I watched how much money came through for this medical billing company. And I was like, damn, like I made them $250,000 today. You know, I made them that, but I'm making this much an hour. And so one day I went in there and I was just spinning around in my chair. And I was just like, I never want to be here again. Like, I never want to be on this program of this system again. You know, go to sleep, wake up, they have the alarm clock, wake you up. Like, the alarm clock is so annoying the way that it disrupts your peaceful sleep. Yeah. And then you drive in traffic. I call it the rat race. Like, you drive in traffic with the other rats, right? It's a whole bunch of us. Everyone's anxious. People are beeping their horns. It's this whole mental mentality to be a worker, you know? And I was right there in it. And I would be frustrated. Come on. Because everything is a rush to get to the job, to work for them, to make money for them, then to get off and repeat. And one day I was sitting there in the cubicle and I was just spinning around in the chair. And I was like, yeah, I think I want to get out this box, you know? And people could say, oh, well, you made decent money. I've made quadruple the amount of money I made as a worker. But I just wanted to get out of the box. And that's the honest God truth. And I didn't even think about it. I didn't call anyone. I always tell people don't call anyone because everyone is going to put their fears on you. Like when your gut tell you to make a move, you just got to do it. And so I just went in and put my 2 weeks notice in and I was like, yeah, I'm not coming back. I'm just, going to do my own thing. And they were like, what? No one does their own thing. Every business failed in the first 5 years. And the statistics, they wanted to keep me. And I was like, yeah, I'm going to make it. I'm going to make it. And I didn't even finish my 2 weeks because I came in the next day and I had to walk to the dreadful box, that box they put you in a cubicle. And I was like, I can't even be professional. Like, I'm gonna just have to go ahead and leave now. Like, I can't do it no more. And that was literally something so strong came over me that I no longer wanted to participate in society's bullcrap of that's the only way to make money.
Yeah. Trust me, you're painting the picture that I currently deal with every day. So I think we're trying to get out this rat race very hard. So
yeah.
So yeah, that leads me to my next question. So you mentioned that you're in this box, but you left kind of abruptly. So you didn't have a plan at all when you left?
No, I was already writing my first book. And of course, you don't become a millionaire off of books overnight, most people.
Uh-huh.
Like, it just doesn't work that way. I think Harry Potter, and there's like a few like rare cases that kind of happen, but that's usually not what happens. And so I did not know what I was going to do, but I knew that I had so many talents and so many areas. And I was working on these areas every time I got off my job. So I was already going home, writing. I was already working on my hair care products. I was like already working on all these passions every day when I got off my 9 to 5. And I have to mention, I do have 2 children. So this was not an easy decision. This was like out of this world insane. My family was worried because they thought they would probably have to take care of me. Like, what is she doing? But I can promise you this, and I can promise anyone who is on this planet right now, if it exists, it's obtainable. And that includes money. It's so much money going around. People are just waiting to give you their money. You just don't know it. You just don't know that what you're holding is gold. You put yourself in such a limited mindset, and it usually comes from working in such a limited environment. When you're working at a job, the most you can be is maybe a supervisor. So it's like you don't have much potential to think unlimited. It's like the most I can do. Maybe I could be CEO. Like that would be like a huge dream as a worker, right? Yeah. But you don't really have that. But when you're forced to jump and hope that the parachute it opens. It opens. You become on a higher vibration and things work out. You don't know how. All of a sudden you have clients. When I first started my tax business, I only did me, my mom, and her husband taxes. I have over 175 tax clients now. Like, no one knew that was going to happen 3 years later, but you use all your talents is money. And you don't sit on any of them until one of them blow up, right? So I knew I could write. I knew I could do taxes. I knew I went to school for accounting. I knew that I knew about hair and that I could give people knowledge on hair. I knew that I was doing holistic. So I had holistic nutrition clients. My first client, I had like 3 clients for like a half a year before I got more and more and more. And so you use every skill that's inside of you and you use that, and that resonates to money. It just does.
Yeah.
So
you mentioned that you were writing the books. So you were in the cubicle and you were like, I wrote this book. Well, I was almost done with the book, right? And so like then you quit your job. So how long did it start for you to start really making money off of your first business venture? Was the book even the first business venture?
Yeah, the book was the official first business venture. And I had built a relationship with the Downtown Culture Arts Center at the time. And so I would go down there and they would pay me to do events. And so that was like cash there. I started with the holistic. I went to school to be a holistic nutritionist, and I had already did that while I was still working. And so I started getting clients for that. So my first 6 months, I lived pretty much off my savings, because I'm not going to give you no bullcrap story. Like I was just like making thousands.
Yeah,
I'm
yeah.
going to give it to you real. So I was like living off my savings. But by the time my savings was about to be depleted, I had built up enough momentum that my entrepreneurship was taking care of me. It had replaced the income for my job. And that was in the first 6 to 7 months, right? And so the first year, I was making more than my job.
Oh,
And
wow.
then the second year, I was making double. And the third year, I was making triple. It was like I was consistent. And I believed. A huge part of being successful doing your own thing is you have to believe in you. No one's going to pay you. If you don't get up and do some work, there's not going to be any money to be made, you know? So you have to believe in yourself that you're worth it. And don't be cheap with your prices either. Because at first when I came out, I would say, oh, I have to do everything reasonable because nobody know who I am. I'm new to this. I'm new to entrepreneurship. So let me be the cheapest. But am I worth the cheapest? No. So I charged fair prices. This is what I think I'm worth for this service. You know, if I'm your holistic nutritionist and I'm going to the market for you and I'm showing you how to eat, which calories good, which calories not, you have to pay me for that. You have to compensate me for that. And that's what I'm worth. If it's too much for you, then you're not on my level. I don't come down and be cheaper for people to be able to afford my services. You have to be on that energy with me to be able to afford my services. And I think that's where a lot of people go wrong, because they think if I be cheap, I can get more people to sign up. But people don't really value cheap. It's so sad. But that's really not what people value. It's like if you say sign up for this free class, many people won't come. But if you charge them $75 for the class, they're going to show up, you know?
Yes, it's definitely a interesting dynamic in terms of value that we offer, right? And putting a price tag on certain things provides a premium to it, and people don't want to waste their money. So when they pay it, they'll definitely show up. So it's just interesting with that. But I'm curious in terms of when you left your job and then the transition to entrepreneurship, what was your day-to-day like at that instance? Because when people usually stop working and they try it on their own, they have to figure out like how much time they're going to put in. What are they going to do? Take us through that transition and like the steps that you took to put your business in a profitable stance.
Okay. So I put Mark Twain quote on my wall. The secret to getting ahead is to get started. Okay. That's the secret to get ahead, is to get started. And so I told myself if I was going to the white man job and I was waking up at 6 o'clock in the morning, then I could wake up for 5 o'clock for myself. And that's what I did. I woke up at 5 o'clock. I had a schedule of what I was going to work on. I got on the phone. I reached out to people. I reached out to high schools. I let them know I was a motivational speaker. My speaking rate was $700 at the time. And I would love to speak at their graduation. I got a producer to put together a video of me speaking at other events, and I would send that out email. My books are in every prison in the United States except for about 7. Okay. So there's 7 prisons that me and my assistant Curry still haven't been able to get to say yes. But we have got so many no's that's turned into yeses. And so before I had an assistant, I called the prisons. I had time slots for different dreams and different things that I wanted. I wanted my books in all the prisons. I know prisoners talk, and that has got me so much success because people would come home and be like, oh, I read that. And my books would circulate the jail of being like the talk of the jail. In return, that got me speaking gigs at the jails that built relationships with wardens. And the warden would say, oh, we having this GED program. Sunni, we love you. You gave us all these books, blah, blah, blah. Would you like to be a speaker? So it works. It just is I can't give you a clear cut answer of how it works, but it works because you're on a different vibration and everything just start lining up. So me giving free books to the prison, taking money out my own pocket, in return got me speaking gigs that I got paid thousands of dollars for. You know what I'm saying? So my day to day would be, what are your dreams, Sunni? What is it that you want to do? I want to be a best-selling author. I have to write every day then. So I'm going to write between this hour and that hour. If I get a brain freeze, that's cool. Don't be too hard on yourself. Write again the next day. What else do you want, Sunni? You want your books in the prisons. Between 10 and 11, I'm going to call prisons every day, no matter what. Because if I was at a desk, I would have things that I needed to do every single day. I would take a break. I would take a lunch break whenever. I would do business lunches. That was my new thing. I would pay for tickets to be in the room with people that I thought that can be investors. So I was so unconventional, but I was disciplined, if that makes sense. I was disciplined on my dream. Like, I was fighting for my dreams. Like, I didn't take it lightly. Like, oh, I'm going to print these t-shirts out and try to sell them to everybody. Like, no, I was disciplined on what it is I wanted, and I focused in that direction. And most of it has manifested, you know?
Yeah, that's pretty cool. I'm looking as you speak it. I'm looking at the words behind you where your books are placed, and it says hustle. I can't see the other word, but it says hustle, and it's hustle more. So that's what.
Hustle
Yeah,
more.
I could tell you.
Let me cut that. You can see it now, probably.
Yeah.
Oh, you put on the light for everyone that's listening.
I put
She
the
has
light
a
on.
sign that says "Hustle More." So
hustle more.
Love it.
Yeah. So I'm real curious about these books.
Sorry.
Yeah, I'm real curious about the book. So talk to me about your first book.
My first book, which is my bestseller still to this day, is Damaged Little Girl. And Damaged Little Girl is based on my true life, but it's not written in such a memoir way that it's like, it's my true experiences. And it starts you from the beginning to the end of how I climb my way out the gutter. And I have to say the gutter because I'm from Baltimore. Like, it's a lot of obstacles around you, and it's really hard to fight them. Some of them you get caught up in. It's your environment, you know? And so I believe to this day, Damaged Little Girl is my bestseller because it's so raw, you know? I talked about everything I did. I'm no angel in the book. Like most memoirs, everybody is doing something to them. No. I've made a lot of mistakes. And so the book is so raw, and I think people can appreciate realness. I think something about being authentic comes through the book. And that was my first book. And I wrote that book because I was actually really sad in life. And I never got any therapy for all the things that happened to me in that city. I love Baltimore. It has some of the best food in the world, but it's some of the most toxic.
Crab cakes.
Yes, the crab cakes, the seafood. Oh my God, it's no comparison. But it's also one of the most toxic environments. It's so toxic. It's a fight every day for positivity, you know? Everyone's so angry. It's a lot of poverty. It's a lot of negative talk. It's a toxic environment. It's a lot of murder. I've actually seen 2 people get killed in front of me. So this is like so many situations that I didn't get any help for. You know, I was abused sexually as a child. I didn't get any help for that. And so the book was me taking all this stuff from inside of me and putting it on paper. Like, hey, I'm a person. This happened to me. And this is how I'm going to overcome this shit. Excuse my mouth. But it happened. This is how I'm going to overcome it.
Wow.
Yeah. I'm curious in terms of your mindset shift, right? Because you said you came from poverty. You said, this environment was really toxic. But, you've created this tax business, you created and written these books, you have these hair products, and you ultimately left your 9-to-5 to pursue your dreams. But take us through some of the steps that you took to change your mindset, right? From poverty to like a wealth mindset.
Yeah, I've always been an avid reader, but when I left my job, and anyone who wants to be an entrepreneur, don't skip reading. You have to learn. You have to learn how to think different, because You're no longer thinking like a coworker. Like, you know, when you at your 9 to 5, you go with your coworkers and y'all go to happy hour and talk a little trash about the boss and this and that. You can't think like that anymore. So you have to put yourself in a business mindset, and you will lose people along the way. It's very sad that that has to happen, but it does. Y'all no longer on the same schedule. Y'all not thinking the same. So the thing that I did most is I started reading more. I started reading more influential books about how to make money, how to change my relationship with money. I had to think about money different before I could start making money, because me and money had a toxic relationship at one point. Because every time I get you, you want to leave me. You want to go pay bills. You want to I just got you. I worked for you and you want to go. And if I don't have you, I felt like my life was over. You know, if I don't have money, I felt like I had nothing. I was worth nothing. But money is not what I'm worth. You know what I mean? That's not who I am as an individual. And so I had to change my relationship with money. And I read the book by Jen Sincero, I believe, but it's called You Are a Badass. And she talks about, you know, her relationship with money. And that book really, really helped me to understand, hold up, money, we're like friends. You know, I'm going to embrace you. I'm going to share you. You're going to come back around. And that's my mindset with money. Spend it, invest in yourself, invest in your dreams, spend it. It will come back around. You hold on to it so tight. That's a lack. Like you're feeling like, oh, if I hold this, it'll never leave me, and nothing else can get in that either. It's so tight. Like no more money can get in there. No, you won't lose that little bit of money, but no more money can come in there either. You have to flow with it. Like let it go. Let it go. It comes back around. I promise. If nothing else out of this podcast, get a better relationship with money. And once I did that, everything else was just based on my action. What is it that I want to do? Because now I'm not beefing with money no more. I don't have this lackful mind that I'm too Black to be wealthy, or I'm too because I'm a woman, I'm not going to be able to make money like men. Or, you know, I was able to kill all those stereotypes with building a relationship with money. And that may sound weird, like money is a person, but we put a lot of pressure on money, right? Like we feel like money is the reason that our life messed up. You can't get in a bigger house because you don't have enough money. Like you blame money for everything, but like, yo, money cool. Like change that relationship. I have fun with money. I blow money. It come back. It's like change the relationship that you have with money, and your life will change with money, you know. Then you have the freedom to just do the things you love because you're not stressed about that part. I don't do anything and think to myself, is this going to make me money?
You don't really. So
No.
what's your primary motivation for doing the things you do then, if it's not for money? Is it for the love?
It's for the love of the things.
Okay.
It's for the love of the things. Because I'll tell you this, you can do things for money, but it won't be successful because it'll get old. And you will be constantly procrastinating. You will be constantly trying to make yourself do these things. And it's no different than a 9 to 5 mindset. You go to that job over and over and over again for the money. And if you go into entrepreneurship with that same attitude, you're still going to be a broke entrepreneur. That's what people don't get. If you're only showing up to entrepreneurship for money purposes, you're still going to be broke. Just like when you went to work for money, you have to show up with intention. You have to show up for relationships. You know, you get so many benefits from the relationships that you meet. They send you clients. They send you other ways for you to make money, you know, but you can't show up with the intent to make money because you're doing nothing different than when you go to your desk to make money, to your 9 to 5 to make money.
Right. So how do you build relationships? What's your technique?
Depending on what type of circle you want to be in, get yourself in that room.
Okay. So how do you do that? So now, so you're somebody
Okay.
with an idea, you know, and you
Yes.
need to be in the room with people. Like, how would you tackle that?
Yeah, and use the example
Okay.
with the investors, right? You wanted to be in the room where people can
I'll use
invest in
an
your business.
example
Yep.
with the investors. Okay. Let's say in Los Angeles, there's going to be this hair convention.
Okay.
There's going to be this hair convention, and they are looking for new products to sponsor. Well, let's say they're not. Let's just say it's a hair convention and it's all kinds of hair, white people hair, black hair, whatever. But to get inside of this event, the ticket is $300. I'm going to be in there. I'm going to be in there. And I'm not going to be in there and I'm not going to be in there pushy. I'm going to be in there and I'm going to walk in there as my badass self. Okay. And I'm just going to be regular. And people always ask you at these events, hi, well, what is it that you do? They're sitting there with their little champagne or whatever. What is it that you do? Oh, I actually have a hair care line. And then I'm still not pushy. I'm not giving you no business card or nothing. I'm going to actually just talk to you regular. By the end, we're laughing, we're joking. I would love to learn more about it. Let's set up a meeting. Then I pay for lunch. Pay for lunch at the meeting. They want to invest. Well, how many bottles do you sell a month? They start asking questions about what's the money that's coming in behind this product. You know, so you go to lunch, you pay for lunch. How many bottles are you selling? This, and this? Well, what would be a good investment to get into this? Oh, you can just invest $2,000, something that you're not going to lose any sleep over. You know, I don't want you to be stressed or on my back when the company don't take off as big as I said it would immediately. What do you feel comfortable investing? Well, $3,000 wouldn't hurt me or my husband. Fine, $3,000. Now I only paid $300 to get in that place, right? And so this is building relationships.
Yeah.
Whatever it is that you're into. Let's say they're having a radio convention and you want to be a voice for radio. You need to be there. You need to be at the radio convention. You still go to work if you're not comfortable just leaving your job right away. I know that's not the way for everybody to do it, you know, but you make sure that if you're striving for a dream, you put yourself in the room with people who can get you to that dream. And it works. It works. Relationships work. Relationships are business. Relationship is money. You don't downplay anyone. You don't downplay anyone. Anyone is a possible customer, you know?
Exactly. And you can also just learn from that individual, right? You know, I think you kind of spoke to it earlier in terms of, you know, just being curious and, you know, driving the relationships, building the relationship, building your network, because you never know who's that next person who will say yes. And, you know, oftentimes no just means not yet. And, you know, definitely showing through your journey that your persistence paid off in so many ways. So I want to talk about the actual tax service that you created during, you know, creating your book and your hair products. Can you talk about what gave you an idea to start a tax service and how did that transition into a successful 175 client business?
Sure. So the lady who used to do my taxes, I used to always think, I have 2 children. I made this amount. I feel like I should be getting a bigger refund because at that time I wasn't in such a tax bracket that I didn't qualify for a refund. And the year that I quit my job, I didn't want to pay her. I'm an entrepreneur now. I cannot be just paying everybody. And so I said, well, I went to school for accounting. Let me do it myself. So I actually went and found, this is what people don't know about taxes. Most people just enter the W-2, put their dependents in there, and let the computer do the numbers. There's credits out here. There's credits out here. There's credits out here. There's credits out here. But the IRS codes everything. Everything is a code. And so I started seeing like these codes, and these are screens that people who don't know how to do taxes well would skip. They just put your W-2 in. Oh, she got dependent. She live here, blah, 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 blah. And I'm like, Dad, well, what's the code 887554? I will Google. I will go through the IRS. I will figure it out. And then that I will qualify for some of these credits because some of them would be, if you live in this area, you can get a low poverty credit or this credit or that credit, but you don't know the codes. So most people don't go research. My first year, I got back like $12,000. When I was going to a tax lady, I was only getting back like $3,000. So I was like, damn, I'm pretty good at this. Let me start reading some more into the IRS. What's fair, what's not, what you can do, what you can't, how far can we go with this? And my mom was like, oh, yeah, you can do mine. I did hers, I did her husband's, and I got them back way more money. So I said, oh, this is something I'm good at. She started telling her coworkers, oh, my daughter got me back $2,000 more. I usually owe, but she made me not owe. And I got some clients from her job. And then her husband told some people that he knew around the neighborhood. I got those clients. And then I started doing other people in my family, and they recommended people. And then it just,
Exploded.
every year, people be like, oh my God, are you Sunni? Can you do Texas? Do you have time? And it just became this thing. But my reputation got good because I can get you back more. I'm going to go find you a way for you not to owe. Think about this. The rich don't pay taxes. They just move a whole bunch of properties around and they don't pay any taxes, right? So why is it that the poor be owing? Like, think about that. That makes absolutely no sense. Yeah. But how many people know where to find credits? It's all about credits. Because if you can find the credits that apply to you, then you won't owe what they feel that you owe. You'll actually get a refund. So I got deep into that. And because I was so good at it, because I had to start getting this reputation for getting people more money, it just started taking off. And now I have like West Coast clients, I got East Coast, I got people I do in Nevada, like all over the place. Like it just word of mouth. Cousins that live in Atlanta. Like say one person in Baltimore have a cousin that live in Atlanta. I do her taxes in Atlanta. She tell her girlfriends in Atlanta, oh, this girl got me back 12,000, you know? And then they call me, hey, can you do mines? I only get back this. And it just networking. It go back to relationships. Now, had I burnt any of those people or had I overcharged them or tried to use them for money, like, oh yeah, I'm an entrepreneur now, I need money from everywhere, I'm gonna be greedy. No, I fairly charged them. I didn't care what they got back. And now my prices is up to here. Can you afford me? You know, because I know my worth now. See, that's what I was talking about know your worth. Everybody have money inside of them. Your skills is your money. Like your skills is your money. And you do your skillful things until your dream take off. That's my motto. Everything I'm good at, I do it for money until my dream take off.
Yep. Yeah, it's pretty dope. It's pretty dope. So you mentioned you're an avid reader. Give us one, if you had to recommend one book for one of the listeners, one book for one of the listeners. What book would that be?
Oh, just one. This just is one. Like not fair.
Give us two. Then.
Okay. The Power of Now. The Power of Now by Eckhart Tolle, I think is how you pronounce his name. Yeah, The Power of Now would definitely have to be my one book. And Think and Grow Rich. Okay. The new edition would have to be a second book. That I would say if everyone could just start off reading a book, those would be the two. I would say Think and Grow Rich, you would need a new edition because the old edition is like 18th century or something. It's a little harder to read in between the lines, but the new edition talks our language. So I would say if you're going to do Think and Grow Rich, do the new edition.
Why The Power of Now?
The Power of Now teaches you how to be in the now. Okay. And in the now is where the magic is. The past is our mind just constantly have, 8,000 to 10,000 thoughts a day. And all of those thoughts aren't you. And then they worry about things that already happened. And then they worry about things that didn't happen yet. And a lot of times you can stay stuck and stay broke because you're worrying about a bill that didn't come yet. But if you were right here, right now, that bill's not even here yet. Like, what can you do right here, right now? That day never comes. The things we worry about, usually that day never comes, And so the power of now really make you absorb life. Like it's all right here. This is where the power is. I'm enjoying this talk with you two. I'm not anywhere else mentally. Like we're right here. We're on the same vibration. We can be in different states or whatever, but we're in the now. Like we're into what we're talking about right now. And so you have to tap into that because let me say this last thing about this. And this isn't from the book. This is just me. I'm a massive manifester. But we have two eyes. And these two eyes can only see what is in the surrounded area, right? If you can tap into all that is, the universe, the power of the now, there is things over there that's coming for you that you can't even see, right? And the now is like the big eyeball. We got these two, but it's like the big eyeball that can see everything. It can see everything. And you have to tap into that because you can't let your mind stress you out. People think that people do things to people. Actually, it's all your mind. You are your own goddamn self. there's not no worried person following you around all day. Like worry about this, worry about that. That's your mind. That's you having no control over your thoughts. You can't be in your thoughts all day. You have to observe them sometime and be like, do I really feel like that? No. Who is that? Oh, that's just a random thought. Like you got to throw them thoughts away. You shouldn't be absorbing them all.
Yeah, yeah. No, self-awareness is definitely a theme that we kind of bring it back to all the time with the show. And this definitely sounds like another case of just self-awareness. Like you know yourself and you've taken the time to learn yourself. And because of that, you're able to help other people. But when you really bring it back, just like we really have to spend more time learning who we are individually.
Yes.
Yeah. Yep. And then also like, when you worry, it's just wasted energy that can go towards so many other things. I mean, it can go to sleep, right? If you just need to take a nap instead of worrying all this time, or work on that goal, or do that extra assignment at work that you're worried about. Like we spend a lot of wasted energy just worrying about things that may not ever happen, or stuff that we have no control of. And there's power in being able to remove that out of your life, right? And no one can do it 100%, but you can get as close as possible to that. So,
oh yeah, I can't do it 100%. I'm not disciplined 100% of the time, but that's okay, right? Because I'm aware that this is my experience. It's okay for me to take a day off. It's okay for me to enjoy my family. Like that's part of the entrepreneurship as well. I'm not one of the ones that believe action, action, action. Work hard. That's the only way you get it. I don't believe that. It's a balance. Use your mind and put action. Believe and put action. Manifest and put action. You don't just action, action, action. People action all day and get nowhere. There's people who work on the railroad tracks and they doing action all day. They working and working and working. And they're broke. Like it's not all about action. It's use your mind, but do action. Can't live in la la land and not actually pick up a pen to start writing the book or actually type on the computer. Like you have to do the action with the goal. They go hand in hand.
It's like that Bible verse, no faith without works, right? You got to have the action behind it. So last question, the most famous question of them all. Yes, let me get ready. How are you? Oh my gosh, that's my son. That's my son.
Arms up.
How are you redefining your Black experience?
I am redefining my Black experience by realizing there is power behind this melanin. Ooh. There's so much power. There's so much power. And there's many races that want to be us. We will always be a threat. We will always be a threat. And I embrace it. I embrace the threat. Like, I love it. And that brings me confident. I come in any room with confidence because I'm coming in with that attitude. There is no woman in here stronger than me, been through more than me, that can do better than me. I don't need to go in the tanning booth to get this complexion, baby. I don't need no Botox in these lips to make them fat. I naturally got curves and hips, and I embrace it. I embrace it with my looks, with my skills, with my intelligence, with my hardship. No one in business is as strong as I am because I've been through the life already. So thank you for making me Black because that has made me a rock, and I'm taking that with me everywhere I go. I don't just walk in the room as a woman. I'm always walking in as a Black woman. So.
Mic drop, mic drop. And I think we should title that Black Excellence, right? I think we could make that into like a Def Poetry jam or something like that. I embrace it. I erase it, whatever. Like, yes. Oh my God, that was an awesome answer. Awesome. And thank you for just sharing your story, your journey, being transparent. You took a bet on yourself and it multiplied. You've grown exponentially, and that's just a testament to your work ethic and ultimately you believing in yourself. So I'm excited to share this with our listeners. I'm excited just to hear this for the masses because you mentioned you had 2 kids, you hated your job, and you wrote 5 books. Like we didn't even get to the other 4. You started tax service. You went to school for accounting, but we didn't even get into that. You took a job outside of your major, right? Which is another like difficult thing to process, especially, years ago, right? Like, so you did that. You created this hair products, right? This natural hair movement. So you've done a lot and you have, changed the lives of people, right? You went to areas that people didn't even think of, right? The jail system, right? Doing motivational speaking, giving your books for them to essentially read your story and inspire them. So you've done great things and you're absolutely redefining the Black experience. And, everyone around you is learning about, having equity, having ownership, right? I mean, you're basically, our people have gone from being owned to being owners. So yes. I love, what you're doing. Thanks for sharing your story. And lastly, where can people find you?
People can find me at naturallysunny.com. Or you can always email me at naturallysunnybooks@gmail.com. I'm on Instagram at Sunni_the author. I'm on Facebook. I don't really play it like that, but I'm there. Sunni Connor, just Sunni Connor on Facebook. And yeah, I'm around. You can find me on any one of those platforms. I'm very open. If you have a question or anything, I'm a very open person. I want to help everybody. So
perfect. And I hear you have a podcast. Can you tell us a little bit about that?
Oh yeah. So also you can find me at Now Podcast, and that's on YouTube. One of our famous episodes is why you will never be successful working a 9 to 5. So we just wanted to check out one. That one has been like super, super popular. And yep, that's where you can find me at on YouTube.
Awesome. Thank you for sharing. Thank you for coming on and dropping gems. Continue redefining the Black experience. And for everyone listening right now, don't be stingy. Get to the needy and the people need to hear the 30 to Life podcast. It's your boy Mookie.
And your favorite color in the world.
30 to Life. We out. Thanks.